Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video. Today I have some funny news to share with you, and, well, it's not really that funny. My wife left me. Now I know some of you are probably surprised that I even had a wife. I have two cats as well, they're wonderful, those are our cat children. But basically today I woke up and I can see that she had taken all of her stuff and left. She packed all of her bags, took the car, and just left. She went back to work. I'm sure she'll be back home later today, in the afternoon. Now, I don't want to go into all of the details because I don't want to be disrespectful toward her, and it's just a lot of information. But first of all, I want to say the biggest victim in all of this are our cats. You know, who's going to pet them? Who's going to feed them? Who's going to change their kitty litter? Do you think it's me? No, I'm a very busy person, so I can't do any of those things. They desperately need their kitty mommy back. Our cats should be growing up with two parents, so it's an absolute shame that she has to go to work while I stay at home and play video games. We did have some problems. I didn't expect it to get this bad. Primarily, I buy too many Pokemon cards, so we always need more money. But I didn't think it was going to get this bad. So she always has to go back to work every day. And I just kind of envisioned myself, staying at home with her, and that's just not a reality. We can't grow old together with our kitty cat children. She has to go to work. One of us has to. However, there were differences in culture and in values, primarily Pokemon card values. I wanted a lot of Pokemon cards. She didn't. I want to live in a small house full of Pokemon cards. She wants to live in a reasonable sized house. So I loved my wife to the very end, but unfortunately, she had to go back to work. So the whole story is quite complex, and eventually I may get to it, but I thought we would talk about the financial complexities that we faced, since I very often talk about finances. I want to talk about how money plays a role in our relationships. I feel like my Pokemon card addiction probably broke down our relationship and really did force her to have to go back to work. You see, one of the problems with having money in your relationship is that you end up wanting to spend it, especially if you didn't earn it. Like if your wife did all of the work and you're just sitting at home playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne all day. The thing is, she does all of the labor, she does all of the grinding and all of the sweating, and she comes home tired and exhausted, and I'm just here eating I ordered some McDonald's yesterday, so I have a leftover McDonald's cookie tote, because they don't sell you, they won't sell you 3 cookies on DoorDash. You have to buy the whole tote, which is like 13 cookies. So I'm just going through this tote, getting fatter and fatter, and really not really caring about, anything else around me. And she comes home with a bunch of money that she earned, and I'm thinking, honey, let me spend all of that on a Shadowless, first edition, base set Charizard. I really need it. I need it for my YouTube channel. And she goes, do you love me? And I say, of course I love you, but first I have to spend your money. And so this is one of the ways that money can complicate relationships. Essentially, you spend all of your spouse's money, and sometimes you don't tell them how much you're spending either. You just kind of tell them what you're spending it on, but you don't really tell them the price. And they trust you with this, especially if you've been nice to them. You're nice on the surface, but underneath you're horrifying, money spending, grubby, sort of hoarding addict, I suppose is the right word. And you don't tell them this, you just sort of spend their money and see where it goes. So this is one of the problems with money in relationship, is when you're completely addicted to spending all of it, it can lead to all kinds of problems, like your spouse having to go back to work. Another problem with money in relationships is you start to rely on it a little bit. You start to rely on it to solve all your problems, to be used for all your birthday presents and all your Christmas presents and all of your, anytime, you need to apologize to your wife, you just go, hold on, honey, let me buy you Pokemon cards from your own bank account. And you don't have to tell her that part. It's just that you do, and maybe you feel bad about it later and you kind of have to live with that guilt. But if she doesn't see her bank account statements, she doesn't know that you bought the Pokemon cards with her own money. See what I'm saying? And so you're kind of stuck with all of this guilt. And she's like, why don't we never have any money? And we work very hard. I tell her this all the time. You work very hard. So she has to leave me, she has to leave me to go to work in the morning. And this hurts me deep when she has to wake up in the morning, take all her stuff, take the car and leave. She has to leave me in order to go to work and earn all this money just so that I can spend it, behind her back a little bit. But I don't tell her, obviously, and this is what keeps everything afloat. But I'll step out of line eventually, and I'll say something kind of, honey, you're getting a little, around the waist. Maybe we should work out together. And it'll hurt her feelings, if I talk about her weight or anything like that. And I say, here, honey, I bought you this lovely Team Rocket Dark Charizard Holo First Edition PSA 10. I buy her a nice card. She's like, wow, honey, you love me so much because you would spend so much money on this Pokemon card for me. How did you afford this? And I say, don't worry about it. And then, yeah, the next day she has to leave to work, and I do feel kind of guilty at that point. I mean, not guilty enough to change, obviously. She's getting older, it's almost time to... Well, I'm not going to get into that subject, but I still love her, obviously. It's just, I hate feeling that guilt. The third way that money can actually complicate a relationship quite a lot is when you're talking about creating perhaps a trust fund for your cat family, right? So we have 2 cats, right? Cat 1, Cat 2. I like to think of them as cat sisters. They're our children. And we can't always agree with how our money should be spent should we pass away early or, when we eventually pass away. So we've had a lot of success, primarily her. She's had most of the success, and I've done a terrific job. I really have. I've done a terrific job taking all of her wealth and turning it into Pokemon cards. And then my plan, of course, is to create a trust fund where these Pokemon cards get distributed to the cats over time when they turn 18 years old. That's what every parent wants to do for their children. You create a college fund, you create a Pokemon card fund, and I've got the Pokemon card fund open. She doesn't think that's a good idea, and this is causing all kinds of conflicts in our relationship, and I didn't expect her success and my spending habits to lead us into this sort of massive conflict where, we'll have nights where I don't talk to her because I'm busy on eBay buying Pokemon cards for our cats when they turn 18 years old. It's a difficult thing, and you don't think about it until you've had a certain level of success in your life. Probably the last thing I want to talk about with how money can affect your relationship is how money doesn't actually make you happy. Well, it makes me happy, but it might not make her happy. For example, when she looks at her bank statement eventually, she's probably going to be really upset. But I mean, I go over to my desk where all my cards are saved. I got all these PSA cards. Those are graded cards. And I got these vintage booster boxes from 20 years ago. It's like stroking my childhood ego, reliving my memories. Makes me feel like a big man. I got all the Pokemon cards, right? And she's going to see that bank account and realize I've drained it just to buy some stupid pieces of cardboard that are really expensive. This is eventually going to lead to a horrifying fight. But she doesn't know that now. It's just that I keep trying to tell her that, we don't need the money. You don't need money to be happy. What you need are Pokemon cards. And she always gives me an odd look when I say this, like she doesn't really understand why I'm trying to push that idea onto her so much. But it's the truth. That's all you really need is to go buy some vintage collectibles and sit at home playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne and eating stale cookies from McDonald's. You don't need things like a regular sized home. You don't need things like a retirement account. Those are all worldly things that they all go away, but Pokemon cards stay with you forever. You never forget those memories. And I keep telling her, why do we need to go on a vacation to Hawaii when we could purchase this $60,000 Illustrator card and I can show it to all of my friends on YouTube? And she of course says, well, it's really important to form memories with each other. And I'm saying, look, honey, we're young, we got time, but there's only one of these Illustrator cards right now for sale for $60,000, and I can't afford to miss it, baby. So you got to go to work in the morning, and I got to buy this card on eBay. So that's just another way that money affects your relationship. It gives you the illusion that it can make you happy, and I'm desperately trying to convince my wife that that's true, that money gives you the illusion that it can make you happy. So when she sees that empty bank account and all of the maxed out credit cards, she doesn't actually leave me. So hopefully all of those tips about how money and success can actually, well, your wife's success can affect your relationship, hopefully all those tips are useful for you guys listening out there as well on this Valentine's Day. As for me, I should probably be okay. I think I'll be okay. The cats, okay, so they haven't been fed. Their kitty litter needs to be done, but she'll be back in the afternoon. I'm not going to take care of those things. I don't do that stuff, right? That's her work. I'm not going to do the dishes, obviously. I'm not going to vacuum. I've got 2 things on my mind. I got to make Monster Hunter videos that are bad and inaccurate, and I've got Pokemon cards to open up. So I was like, she'll come back eventually. I'll be fine, guys. Don't worry about me, alright? With all that being said, yes, my wife did leave me in the morning. She'll be back in the afternoon. I want to wish you and all of your left hands a happy Valentine's Day. See you guys later.